We made it to the end of the section. Not that bad. So let's go over some of the things we talked about. WAN terms, right? You have the central office, you have your demarcation point where your responsibility ends or starts, depending on how you look at it, and the company's, the central office, ends or starts. Okay? Your demarcation point. We also talked about connection types. Connection types, meaning dedicated or leased lines, which are expensive, mucho dinero, right? Lots of money, because you're asking, hey, I want this bandwidth at all times. We talked about circuit switch. That's more like ISDN, which we don't really use anymore. Okay, well, I hope not. And then obviously we have packet switch technology, which that's where the frame relay or the X.25 and now MPLS type of and PPP that we use. All right, you only pay for what you use. The different types of encapsulations, which we did frame relay, we did PPP, and then we did GRE. And GRE really, it is an encapsulation type, but again, we do GRE tunnels just to make our life easy. Really, you saw how simple that configuration was. Frame relay obviously is being taken over by MPLS. All right, so now you need to learn MPLS, and you will, and you will. But you saw how that worked out, because the frame relay, talking about terms, we had the CIR, right? Your committed information rate, you have your burst rate, all these different things, because you do have to sign a contract with a particular ISP who's giving you access to the internet and say, how much is this line going to cost me on a monthly basis? I want this much bandwidth. Oh, well, it'll cost you $400 something. No, I wouldn't want that. Okay, we saw that by default, serial lines use HDLC, and it's proprietary to each particular vendor. So that's why there's not. So if you have a Cisco router, and you'll say a non-Cisco router, and for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, they're both running HDLC on their serial links. If they're both running HDLC, Cisco router, non-Cisco router, what's going to happen? They're not going to communicate, because each vendor puts in their own information. So what's the fix to that? Either use the same vendor, or we go to PPP, which has a lot more flexibility, has more options that we can use, such as, let's say, callback features, all right, different types of authentication. All right, we also have frame relay. In frame relay, we also have terms such as permanent virtual circuits, PVCs, which are identified by what? Our DLCIs. Who gives us those DLCIs? Our providers. All right, we're the ones that just put them in. Obviously, in the lab, we can use whatever we want, but you need to understand that a permanent virtual circuit is a sub-interface, is what it is, but is a permanent virtual circuit, and it gets identified by these DLCIs. All right, and that will in turn help the issue of routing loops, especially within the RIP routing protocol. All right, and then we have GRE, which we talked about. Very simple, very straightforward configuration. It can get complex. It can get complex, especially when you're doing DMVPNs, right? We use multiple GRE, and we're using IPsec when you start doing IPsec on your GRE tunnel, because remember, GRE is plain text. And if you want your data to be encrypted from point to point, you have to configure IPsec. But that's it. These are the things that we covered in this section. I will see you in the next one.